Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, and today I'm continuing my playthrough of Normandy 44. Once again, it's been quite a while since my last post. This time I actually have somewhat legitimate reasons for that. I was on vacation for a couple of weeks here in the past month, and so was unavailable during that time. And then also, a couple weeks ago, my daughter's air conditioning went out in their apartment. And so they were staying over here for a little while. And they had their cats over with them. And one of them is a fairly young kitten. And she got up on the table and kind of played with the pieces and disrupted everything. So fortunately, I still had the paper recording of all the unit locations that I had made at the end of, I think it was turn 8, going into turn 9, which was the last time I had the game actually torn down. And so I was able to get everything back to that point, and then since then I've been rewatching turns 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, we're up to turn 12 now. And basically recreating all those moves to get things back to where it should have been. So I've got it to that point. Now you'll notice there's several spots here with some dice on them, and that's because while I was rewatching those episodes, and also thanks to a viewer pointing out, Scott, I believe it was, pointing out some couple of mistakes I had made. I've got some corrections to make here at the beginning of this episode. So I made some notes here, make sure I can hit all of this. So first of all, there's a few things in turn 10. And this one, I won't really be able to show everything as it was, but at that point in time, there was, if you recall, a stack of German units here. And there was a bicycle unit, I believe it was either in this hex or down in this area somewhere, that I had moved up through here to get to that spot. Yeah, it was actually here where the strong point was. And in doing so, they moved through this hex here, which of course is in this unit's EZOC, and they would have had to stop there. So what I did to correct that, there was another, excuse me, equal strength unit that was in here that I moved there instead, and then I moved the bicycle unit actually out around this way and into here, and that's him right there. So we got that corrected with no change in how things turned out. The next one was, let's see, this was around hex 1928. Yes, that's right. It was over here. That's what this one is indicating. So this unit here, during turn 10, had moved, I think, from over here somewhere and moved up into this hex. And then later on, there was an attack, I believe, that was made on a stack that was here at the time, between units in these two hexes. And then when I was resolving the advance after combat, I inadvertently thought I had moved this unit off of the stack of one of the stacks. And so I put it back on, and then they participated in the advance after combat, which obviously they couldn't. Nothing happened subsequent to that that would have affected anything. And on the very next turn, I could have, so I think they ended up in this hex. On the very next turn, I could have moved this unit into that hex. So basically that's what I ended up doing when I recreated everything. And then they subsequently got pushed back to here as part of a counterattack by these units here. So that's been corrected without any change needed. Let's see. Oh, and then speaking of the I think there was another point then where we were attacking back into this hex, I believe, and I had calculated the German strength as 11 or as 9, because I was thinking they were, or no, it was in this hex actually. They were, yeah, because this is a city hex. I was thinking this was clear terrain, and it actually wasn't. So they should have gotten an additional 2 strength. So the odds, which I thought were initially 1-to-1 and ended up being 3-to-1, should have been resolved at 2-to-1, which means instead of the exchange result that occurred there, it should have been an A1DR. But in this case, too much has happened since then to try to fix that. So I'm basically just going to say, instead of rolling a 2, I rolled a 3, which would have gotten the same EX result on the 2-to-1 column. And we'll leave it at that. I think this was actually here for another reason, though, which I'll get to shortly. All right, and then this one I actually did end up correcting in turn 11, but there was an illegal advance after combat that I had made up here, moving into a Zachbond hex, and that had already been corrected in the turn 11 episode. All right, so moving to turn 11. As I mentioned, one of our viewers named Scott pointed out a couple of things. Because it was a clear turn, and I think I probably goofed this up in earlier turns as well that were clear. I forgot that German mechanized units have their movement rating reduced to 3. And so there were several units here that moved farther than they were supposed to be able to. So there were some units that were in here, and well, they were in this X. That was another mistake I made, is when I unstacked some things, when I restacked them, I thought they were in this X, when in actuality they were in this X. So there was, I believe it was this unit, and one of these guys, I think it was this one, that's why I left it out on top. They had traded places in order to boost this hex up a little bit, and they couldn't have actually made it that far. So this unit was actually here, and this unit was actually here. And so what should have happened is, if I wanted to at least get these closer up there, is they could have gone 1, 2, 3, and then these guys could have gone 1, 2, an extra one to disengage, 2, 3. So they would actually only have made it to there. So we're going to go with that to try to somewhat fix that mistake. Some other units that moved further than they should have. That was that was a different reason that one was in error. I'll get to that in a sec. But there were some reinforcements over here that also moved, excuse me, farther than they should have. So these guys, okay, for one thing, putting these bicycle units on a truck would have actually lowered their movement, because that would have reduced them to 3 since it was clear weather. So they should have just moved with their normal movement of 4, still doing a strat move. So they would have actually ended up here with these other bicycle units. And then this mechanized unit, which only had a movement rating of 3, should have ended up here, I believe, instead. Because they would come in here, double their movement to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they could have gotten to there. So that takes care of that. We didn't end up using that truck marker then. So that's been corrected. And then the other thing then in this hex, or no, it was this hex that we attacked. There was a Tiger tank there, and I forgot that they provide a left shift when defending. So the attack odds were at, I thought, a 2-to-1. And we ended up getting a, let's see, check my notes here. We ended up getting an A1D1. Yeah, we rolled a 6, that's right. And it should have actually been at 1-to-1 with the Tiger tank defensive shift. So it was actually a DR result. So everything would have ended up being the same, except we would not have taken this loss on this Canadian infantry. And then they would not have taken the loss on, what was it they lost? You know what, I might need to go back. Oh, I think it was, you know what, maybe I already undid these. I think I already undid these. Yeah, I did. That way I wouldn't have to remember. So this one had already taken a hit at the beginning of combat, but then we ended up thinking that these guys were also taking a hit. And I think probably that unit took a hit. So I've undone those. That's right, everything in the hex was disrupted except for the headquarters because it was already there. And then they ended up retreating back to here into this town. All right, so that's been corrected as best I can. And then yeah, I think the other one that I mentioned here was these units being put in the wrong hex. So that's been adjusted for. I think these guys were also in that hex, and they had a disrupted marker on them, but that disrupted marker actually was supposed to be removed the previous turn. They were just hiding under some units. So they were actually here, and I was attempting to get them up into this area. And so with a movement rating of 3, they could have actually gone 1. And these units weren't there at the time, but basically they could have gotten to this spot anyway, even though they were a hex further back, because they weren't actually disrupted. So I'm just going to leave that as is. This unit, I made a mistake moving. I think it was also coming from this hex back here. I had him move, well, for one thing, I thought he had 5, so he was going like 1, 2.5, 3.5, but there's no way for him to cross that major river there. So he couldn't have actually moved into that hex. So, and they only have 3 movements, so we'll say they actually went 1, 2, and up into there. We'll say they went there instead. All right, and then the last thing was for some reason, and I checked back through even the end of turn 8 video to see if I missed something. But in the videos, this unit was reduced. But when I looked at my notes from the unit positions at the end of turn 8, these were both full strength. And there were no attacks that they were involved in, so I don't see any way they could have gotten reduced. So I think that was just a mistake when I put things back after having the game torn down at the end of turn 8 and had them reduced for some reason. So I put them back to full strength because I'm pretty sure that's the way it should be. All right. So there we go, 15 minutes of me fixing all my mistakes from the last 2 turns, and hopefully we're back. And no more kitten, so hopefully we can continue without any further disruptions like that. All right, so let's get into the actual gameplay. Starting with the initial phase, need to determine the weather. Allies are hoping for some more clear weather here before the storms that come in. Oh, I did also want to mention, so I was fortunate that, because I went through and inventoried all the pieces after the cat had played with them to make sure that like none of the units were missing and gotten eaten or whatever. I did end up not being able to find the turn marker though. So I have no idea what happened to that. I don't know if the cat did eat it or it just carried it off somewhere and I don't know where it is. But anyway, so I'm using this extra marker that came with the game that I don't even know what it's for. I'm just going to use that as the turn marker from now on. So kind of disappointed that one of the pieces was lost, but I'm at least thankful that none of the actual units were lost and it was just a marker. So, all right, anyway, let's roll for the weather. And yes, clear 5 again. Nice. Nice for the Allies, bad for the Germans. And I will remember this time that they only get 3 movement points for their mechanized units. But let's see what that's going to give us in terms of replacements. So the Germans only get 1 improved position this turn. I'll set that out for them. They're going to get 1 supply point, so we might as well give it to Fortress Cherbourg. They get 1 infantry replacement that has to be used on a 0 quality unit. So following my convention, I'm going to put that sideways to show that it has to be on a 0 quality unit. The Americans did have 1 infantry replacement that they weren't able to use last turn, so that carried over. And then the Americans get 1 of each. Now they're up to 2 infantry replacements, 1 armor. The British just get the 1 infantry replacement. And then nothing for the Canadians. All of our air units and all of our naval units. The Allies are really hoping to be able to capitalize on this breakthrough in the Cherbourg Peninsula that they made last turn. And the Germans will be scrambling to try to contain them without leaving themselves too weak somewhere else, which is going to be pretty difficult, I believe. Wow. Almost looked like I did that on purpose. Figure out how to do that, that'd be great. Okay, so there's that, and then we do get our supply points. So again, 2 each for the U.S. and the Commonwealth. All right. Then we go to nothing to do for Mulberry Construction. We did that. Ready All, In Supply Headquarters, and Werfer Brigade. Speaking of Werfer Brigades, as I was rewatching those videos, I'm like, you dummy, you've been forgetting to use your Werfer Brigade. I think they're in here, yeah. They don't have to spend supply points, so they could have been giving me some extra shifts there on some of those determined defenses that we were doing. Definitely need to remember that going forward. All right, I don't think, were there any headquarters that moved more than one hex? I'm not seeing any. I don't think there were. Oh, yep, this one did, right, because he came on as a reinforcement last turn, so he moved 2 hexes. I think all the others are in good shape. All right, so that will take us to the German replacement phase. I just realized I forgot to remove these replacement markers during the Allies' last recovery phase, so we're going to get rid of those now. All right, so for German replacements, we've got just a single infantry replacement that can only be used on a 0 quality unit. So let's see who we have that could qualify for that. All right, those are all full strength over there. These guys are all disrupted, so they don't qualify. There is one here. However, I think if we boosted him up, we'd probably, we'd exceed the stacking. Whoops. Which I'm guessing is okay. You just have to resolve it by the end of the movement phase. There's one over there. He's already full strength though. Those are disrupted, so aren't eligible. Same with these. These are all full strength units. He's a +1. Full strength. -1. I guess we could use it on a, it's on a 0 or a -1, so that one's a possibility. Excuse me. We'll take him up to a 5, give them 9 there. Might not be a bad choice. Although really up here, these guys are disrupted, so they're not eligible. Up here is probably where we could really use it if we got it. Already full strength. Yeah, because these guys are under there disrupted, and they're all disrupted. Excuse me. We could also bring in a 0 strength unit. Let's see what we got available for that. I think that might be our best bet to try to piece together some semblance of a line over here. So let's see what we have available for that. Digging through their eliminated units pile here. The same. Just looking for ones from different divisions, since I think they have to come in with at least I think it's within 5 hexes of a fellow division mate. All right, well, we got a few choices here that I found. All right, so let's see who. Let me just verify that, and also where they can come in at. Let's see, replacements. Yeah, so here we go. We can, returning eliminated units, they can be placed in a friendly controlled city hex, town hex, or with a friendly HQ with the same nationality. And they have to be in supply, can't be in an EZOC, must be within 5 hexes of another unit from its division that was already on the map. So let's see where we might want to get them. We got that city that isn't eligible because it's in an EZOC. They could go to this town, and they could go obviously to some of these towns up here. I'm thinking maybe this might be the best spot. Then they have to be within 5 hexes of someone from their division. 1, 2, 3. So as long as there's someone in this stack or this stack, or actually any of these as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so any of these would qualify as well. So what is that? 709th. These are all 709th. See what's under here. Non-divisional unit. 709th. 243rd. 709th or 243rd, it's looking like. Or obviously 17th SS, but I don't think we have any of those. They wouldn't be 0 quality. That's a non-divisional unit. So yeah, it looks like it needs to be 709th or 243rd, which none of those are. Let me keep digging. Well, here's a 709th Ost unit, but I don't know if they can be rebuilt. I'll have to double check on that. Got a bunch of 352nd, 716th. Not seeing any. 346th. Oh wait, here's a 709th. It's only a -1, but at least it's 4 strength and it can help out. I think they'll come back in. Will they come back in reduced strength then? If they're I would assume he would come back in on his flipped side, since we're only spending one. Yeah, can restore a reduced unit by 1 step or bring a unit out of the eliminated pile on its lowest step. Yeah, okay. So actually it'd only be 2 strength, but still, there's some bodies up there at least. Okay, because none of these are eligible. All right, well, we'll go with that. Yeah, the OST is actually a -2 unit, so I don't think they can be brought back because it said 0 or -1. Pretty sure those can't receive replacements. All right, so we're going to put him here with a replacement marker. Unfortunately, that means he can only move 1 hex this turn, so he's not going to be able to get real close to help, but at least it's something. All right, so that's been spent. And we go to German movement phase. And they get some replacements this turn. Actually, just a single unit. Going to come on a green entry hex, so down here. And again, I think we just got to try to rush him up this way as much as we can. So, where did we figure out? I think this was the best place to come in to get up along this way. We're on clear weather, and he's not mechanized, so he's not going to reduce his movement. So he's got 3. It won't do any good to throw him on a truck because that makes him mechanized, and it'll just knock him back down to 3. We can use a strat move, though, assuming we can get away with not strat moving one of these units. Let's see. How far can these guys get without strat moving? They're bicycle units, so as long as they stay on a road, excuse me, they get 6 movement points, I think. So they could go 12 hexes. 1, 2. Oh. Yeah. So six movement going 2 hexes each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure out where we want to try to plug things up here. We can't move any of, sorry, off camera. We can't move any of these guys down because they haven't been released yet. We could move this flak unit. No, he can't move, never mind. 0 movement points. I thought there was something up here that could move. Maybe not. Maybe they've already moved out. Nope, looks like everything there can't move out. This disrupted unit can. He can move to here. I think disrupted can only use tactical movement, right? Yeah, disrupted units can only move, use tactical movement and correction on the bicycle movements. It's only during overcast turns they get that, so we'll, he's only going to actually be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, probably to there. Or 1, 2, 3. He can't go into there with strategic movement. He could get to there, which might help. So anyway, this guy, I think we'll have him go down to here to try to start to form something along here. Where was this guy at? That hex, yeah. Of course, this one can move 1 hex, so we'll move him. We'll hold off and see where we want him to go. I think we need to move this guy around. Unfortunately, he's only got 3 movement points as well. as does that one. We just get, so it's going to be 1, 2 to break the zoc, and then 3. So really, they can only get to there. Oh boy, this is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So we really need something at least here or here to keep them from being able to just swoop through here, because they'd at least have to stop when they entered our zoc. Well, we can move some guys out of the strong point. Whoops. Less than ideal, but gotta do what you gotta do, right? How much do we have in here now? 4, 6, 7, 8. They're in bocage, which gives them 3 or 4. Bocage gives you 3. So really, shooting for that magic number of 10. So we need to leave 7 if we could. Might just have to leave 9. These guys can go, it's not a river there, right? No, the river ends right there, okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, so they could get to there. These guys can use tactical movement so they can get to there. Yeah, I think that's about the best we can do. Fly, wanting to check things out here. Okay, so then I guess this guy will just imagine we're going to have to start collapsing back this way. We'll move him to there, I guess. We'll probably need to kind of fall back and try to defend behind this river, I'm thinking. I wonder if these guys should start getting ready to I think we want to try to hold there as long as we can, I guess. All right, so what can we actually do with these guys then? 1, 2, 3. They could get to there or there. There probably doesn't make sense. Of course, if we strat move them, we could strat move one of them. We just need to free up one of these strat move markers. So I think we strat move this higher strength unit here. So he can go 1. Yeah, because then he'll get 8 movement points. So basically be able to go 16 hexes on a road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. We can bring him up in with this guy. This one will not use strat move on. So he'll just go 1, 2, 3. Don't want them there because they could attack through that Zachbond then. We leave him back here so we can kind of see where he needs to go next turn. Okay, the fly has been dealt with. Where were we? Yeah, I think we'll leave him there so we can kind of move him a couple different ways next turn where needed. This guy can strat move. He's only 3 though, remember, because of the... You're like, what guy? This guy. Because of the clear weather, he's only got 3 movement points. So doubled to 6. He'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll link up with this guy. Sorry, this guy here. He moved into this hex with the guy that we just brought in. And then our reinforcement then can come from down here. Again, 6 movement points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, he's moved. All right, I think that's about the best we can do up there to try to contain them a little bit. So let's see, they're probably going to go start romping on this stuff over here. Anything else we want to do? Kind of. These guys got pushed back next turn, or last turn, I mean. Just now kind of threatening our headquarters because these guys can these guys don't have a Zach, so they can move into there and attack there. So we probably want to pull these guys back. These guys might need them to be able to support something up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they can only get to there right now. Let's move them up that way. Oh, sounds like there's another fly. All right. The other issue we have is down in this area. Well, a couple of issues. So these guys got pushed back last turn, which kind of opened this up a little bit. I think we might need to, I guess if we just put them here, that would form a couple of Zachbonds. They can use tactical movement to get there. No, they can't, because Ezok, stop. The mechanized units can't enter the flooded hex without going along a road. It's our tiger tank too. Why do we got the tiger tank over here in the floods? Definitely not optimal play here. Let's see. We got these units that didn't quite, we thought were in there, but realized they couldn't quite make it there last turn, so, or a couple turns ago maybe. What do we want in there? Probably these 2 units. Thing is, no DCBs in the flooded either, but those 2 alone give 10. So yeah, I think we move them into there, move them into there. What do we want to do with this Tiger tank? So let's see. These guys were disrupted, I think. These guys weren't. Doing that backwards. The Tiger tank, which is also disrupted. As is this flak unit. What do we want them to do? Guess the flak unit could go into here. Or back into here. Yeah, we'll move them back into here too, so they're also under the disrupted marker. And then this guy. I feel like he needs to come down and help plug this gap down here. Let's see, these guys have 3 movement points, so they could get to there. No, they can't. They gotta stop. They gotta stop in that hex. I think they were here. So they don't have enough to get around. Well, let's see. 1.5. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to get across that bridge or that major river there. These guys could go. They also only have 3. 1, 2, 3. They can only get to there. Man. We're going to have to peel something off to help reinforce these guys here. Probably from here. These guys are behind a river at least, so I think maybe we leave them like that. Pull this guy out to go to here. And then can we actually get into there with much? Let's see. Actually, no, we can't come around this way because they'll stop them there. But I guess they could go into here and then these guys shift down. Yeah, let's see what we can do with that. This is our Werfer Brigade too. Probably want to pull him back out of this front line. So all silhouetted units. So we can get these guys into there along this road. So then we shift somebody else down to here. Actually, with these guys here, we don't really need. So these guys can zip up into here. These guys shift down to here. They're disrupted. Not the one under them. Then this guy can go to here. Is this one of the, yeah, that's one of the con hexes. Yeah, it's these four. Oh, they don't, they're in a city hex, so they can't get an armor shift. So we've got 8 plus 5. We've got 13 there, so. Yeah, I think that's about the best we can do with that situation. Everywhere else is holding pretty well. So, this finishes entrenching now. And we have one improved position we can start constructing. Where are we thinking for that? All these guys have moved, so they can't. These guys didn't move, but they're disrupted, so they can't. We really need it up in this area, but it's not going to happen. So I guess maybe one of these positions that we had to kind of weaken a little bit down here. They didn't move, but they're not infantry, so they can't start one. All of this stuff moved. Guess maybe here. Looks like good as place as any. All right. I think that does it for German movement. German combat. I don't think so, especially with the clear weather, having to roll on the JBOS table. Which one of my viewers pointed out several turns ago. It looks like I might have forgotten about that. So apologies for that. Try to remember going forward. Yeah, so I think we'll just go with that and see if that's good enough to stop the Allies from encircling Khan over here, and well, there's not much we can do about them getting into Cherbourg up there and doing some damage on those units, so we'll have to see what happens there. Once these guys are released, we can try to start consolidating them a little bit more. I think it's 2 hexes they have to be within to be released. Double check that. Yeah, the allies have to be within 2 hexes of them for them to be released. Oh, now here's something I overlooked that maybe we want to do. Restricted units that start inside the shareboard perimeter may freely move within the perimeter before they are released. Once one of these units is released, then all of them are released and may freely move out of the shareboard perimeter. So is there any adjustments we want to make within the perimeter here to kind of bolster things up here a little bit? Probably so. Let's get these guys into here. These guys into here. And these guys, they can use strategic movement to get there. Maybe we actually want to, let's back this up a second. There's no road into that strong point, unfortunately. So we can put them in the strong point. It looks like for now they just need to go here. And then these guys can go 1, 2. That's right, they don't even need to use strategic movement because it's just road movement. They can get into these guys were here. These guys were here. These guys were here. Right. Yeah. What if we actually did this? Make sure. So these are 2 stacking points. That's only 1 stacking point though. So yeah, they can fit in there. And then both of these can get into this hex then. 1, 2, and then with strategic movement, he actually has 4 movement points, so he can get to there. And then this guy, I think maybe we just put here so he can quickly get down this way or that way or that way as needed. Okay. That's a little better. They'll still probably be able to go up and take out that strong point, but at least that'll help keep them out of the perimeter a little bit. All right, so movement done, combat done, no reserve movement, no reserve combat, recovery phase. We can remove the disruption and replacement markers. I'm not sure. This is the only guy that strap moved. I don't know if... I know there's some negative effects to having a strap move marker on you. Well, these guys probably won't be affected, but I'm not sure if it affects all the units in your hex or just you. I can go... This guy strap moved. disrupted. Start straightening these up too. All right, straighten. No longer disrupted. No longer disrupted. No longer disrupted. There's one under here. And under here, I think. Yep. Okay, let's get that silhouette back on top. Silhouette on top. And no longer disrupted. Silhouette on top. All right, I think that's all of them. We're now ready for, well, a couple more steps actually. I don't think anything's affected by them. Supply phase, everyone's still in supply, there's no attrition, isolation attrition to roll for, and there are no German IPs alone in hex. So, on to the Allied player turn. All right, so we'll start with the Allied replacement phase. They have one U.S. armor replacement and one British infantry replacement and two U.S. infantry replacements because they didn't use theirs last turn. So let's see what we want to use those for. Let's start with the British infantry. Those are gliders, so we can't use it on them. We could bump them up. These are Canadians, I believe, so they're not eligible. These are full strength still, I think. Yep. SS Brigade can't take a replacement. Those are airborne. Canadian. Got a couple here that could. This one could, but I think we might want to, excuse me, do an attack here. We have 8 defending here, so even with the excuse me, shift, is it halved and shift for the major river? Let's see, major river, yeah, halved and left shift, so that might be kind of difficult. Probably better off coming down here and attacking these guys to try to put some more pressure through here. So these might not be a bad choice. Have to get some of these then to try to, I don't know if they have enough movement to do that. So they have to get all the way down into here. So we might actually have to just shift these over, shift them down. Which probably means these guys will come down to here. I don't think we'll be attacking with this stack, so that one might be a good target for that. We also have a couple, that's armor. We have one here though. Ooh, we got this guy that could get in there probably. Yeah, might get him down on this. I think there's one under here as well. Yep. I think I would like to attack this spot though, so I don't think we'll give him a replacement. So it's looking like either this unit or one of these. Let's go with, actually we said we don't want to do that unit because we're going to slide them down here to try to attack this position. So let's just give it to one of these guys. We'll put them on top. Give them a replacement marker. Not spent. And for our US replacements, armor, looks like it could go here or here. That would give them their Zachbon back, which might not be bad, but this one would boost them up to a 4, which might be even better. Yeah, we probably want to hit these guys. I wonder if the Germans should have put a, or no, I think they were disrupted. They couldn't have built a strong point. That's right. We pushed them back out of this town last turn, I think. Let's see. What else? We got an armor unit here that could take a replacement. We got one up here as well. Put him back up to a 4. And then for infantry, doesn't look like we have any cadres that can come back up. These are all airborne, so we're good there. Do we have any reduced infantry up here? That's airborne. 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 More airborne. We can really get those guys in an attack to get that +1. These are all, oh, here's one down here. We might want to continue pressing this guy back. What do they got here? 8 + 3 is 11. 7. Yeah, we got more than 11 there. Gotta be careful we don't get too far extended into there. Almost need to hit this stack, push them back as well. Yeah, I'm thinking for the armor step, let's give it to, we want to attack there, so let's not give it to them. These guys will probably move down to help. Thinking we give it to these guys. I don't think they're going to be doing anything. Placement marker on them. 2 infantry replacements. I don't know that we have anywhere to spend them. There's another one hiding under there that could have taken a replacement, but I think they're good. Yeah, I'm not seeing any infantry that have taken losses, so I think we're gonna be able to save that again. Because we need to start taking some hits on our infantry when we have that opportunity. All right, so we'll save those 2, and that will take us to the Allied movement phase and get our reinforcements now. So we have 6 reinforcement points to spend for each nationality. Remember, we can't bring more than 4 RPs worth through the same beach, though. So, I think for the British, we might as well finish bringing on this, what was that, the Guard? Well, the rest of the Guard Division and then the rest of the 11th Division. Let's figure out where we want them to come in at in a moment. And then for the U.S., I think we're going to need some more forces as we start to extend our line up here, pushing them back into Cherbourg. So let's get definitely a big unit up there. Who were we bringing in? Yeah, the 2nd Armored was coming in at Utah, so let's bring the rest of them in. And that leaves us 2 that we could bring in. One of these, either a couple of these small guys or one of these. Guess let's bring in one of these cavalry regiments. 4th Cav, sounds good. Bring them in at Omaha. All right, so over here, it looks like these guys are starting to push down this way. So I guess we'll bring him in there. I'll bring this one in here. Where's the rest of the Guard Division at? There's one of them. There they are. So yeah, we'll actually probably let's bring him in this beach actually. And come down through here. I don't know. Kind of want to get him down probably to, because we're going to send this one down here to assist with this attack. So we probably want to get him down into this area. So yeah, we can come in through here, down this way. All right. So for actual movement then, whoops, kind of caused a mess over here. Come on. All right. Yeah, so let's, I think we said we want to push these guys over to here. Bring these guys down to here. Continue that encirclement effort. These guys will come to here. I don't know if we want to do any juggling with these stacks. That one looks good. That one looks good. Actually, we were talking about bringing that guy down here, actually, but I guess we don't need to. I think we got plenty in there. The other option, though, is to have some of these guys. If we have at least one of these units assist in an attack here, that would keep us from having to do half strength across the river. So I think it's only if all of them are, right? Attacker halved. Well, I guess these guys would still be halved. That's right. It's the left shift on the major river that you don't suffer unless all units of the MAF are attacking across a major river hex side. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll have to see about that one. It would be nice to hit that as well before they get that improved position done. What else? About anything we want to put in reserve after we knock these guys through? So probably if this succeeds, I'm guessing they would retreat back across the river here. One hex retreat. Which means our advance could go into here. And into here. So we may want some stuff in reserve to like kind of fill in behind them then. Let's see, for the reserve, I think they can only spend one movement point. Is that right? To be put in reserve. Let me check that. Yeah, they can only spend one movement point, and if they start the movement phase in an EZOC, they can't have moved. So, and then they're going to get, I think, half their MPs for reserve movement. Yeah, half their movement allowance. So these guys would be able to move 3 hexes. So if we move them there and place them in reserve, that would let them get up into here. So yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll move them there, place them in reserve. We could do the same with them, but they'd only be able to go like from here, and then they'd only get to here anyway, so they could just move there now. Actually, where's their other units at? It's the 51st. Nope. Where did they get to? here somewhere. Found them. That's these guys. I guess we'll just move them up into there. Be ready to punch through there next turn. Yeah, so let's get these attacks marked that we want to make. So we're going to go here. And I think we were thinking here. As far as British attacks, at least for now. I just don't know how feasible this would be. I've got 2, 4, 7 plus 3 is 10. And we'll be halved. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because the other thing is we could not put them in reserve and just have them attack here. That would get us to our 10. Yeah, why don't we just do that? And then if that succeeds, they could always advance over this way to fill something in if needed to. Yeah, so let's just move them there. They can assist with this attack. That'll get it to 1-to-1 at least. We'll have another attack on that spot. And over here, I just don't really know what to do to get through this flooded area. Kind of need to maybe start hitting this spot. They get no DCB because they're in flooded, so it'd be 6, 7, 8, 9. I could potentially get a 2-to-1. And then as long as, so he's going across a flooded hex side, which is that halved and left shift. But if we get someone attacking from here as well, then these guys would only be halved and we wouldn't have the left shift. So maybe we push these guys here. I mean, we'd still have a Zachbahn that would allow them to move up into these woods, unfortunately, but although we could, yeah, we could fill it back in with these guys. Or we just have these guys come do it. Well, they'd have to stop here, though, because that's the only way to get across this thing. Maybe we shift everybody down and these guys come fill in here. That would work. Because that would then give us, what, 6, 10, 11. And these would all be halved, but that's still 6, 7, 8. So that would give us our 18 factors. Yeah, why don't we try that, see if we can get around this end. These guys slide into here. And these guys go 1, 2, and then 1. Start making some progress over here. Because the more of these, so here's our historical boundary line. So the more of these little towns here that we can gobble up, that'll count toward victory points at the end. Plus, if we can manage to take, get this encirclement here and take Khan, force them out of there, then I think all we have to do is get a unit on the east and the southern map edges for an auto victory. Okay, yeah, so then that sets up an attack here. That's 4 British attacks. I think that's probably all we want to try to do. We have 3 air shifts and 2 artillery shifts available. Maybe we can double up on something. All right, how about on the American side of things? We said we want to hit these guys. Let's see what we got for that. This is all 2nd Infantry and 3rd Armored. Some more 2nd Infantry coming here, and the other 2nd Infantry isn't out yet, so but we could have these guys move up into here to help with this attack. Let's mark that. I guess before we get too carried away in this area, let's see what we're going to try to do up here first. I think we want to try to come take this strong point out. That would mean moving these guys up to here. 1, 2, 3 to get to there. This guy's not really. Let's see, with D, that's all those cadres are from 101st. I think once we get that other 101st unit knocked down to cadre, we'll probably withdraw them. Where's he at? He's under here. Should probably get him up into the action. So I think what we'll do is, let's see, he's going to have to get back on this road, so and they get 2-for-1 movement on roads too, right? Road. Yeah. Okay, all this was in that hex. Not mess that up like I've been doing in the past. All right, so it's an extra 1 to break the Zoc, so that's going to be 1 to break, and then 2 to get to here. And then 3 to get to there. That's as far as he can get for now. But yeah, there's no sense having him just sitting down here defending when this cadre can do the job just as well. So we'll move him into there. Don't really need to mark him as moved, I don't think. By the same token, we could get this cadre up to take one of these guys' place that's not really doing anything at the moment. Where would we want him to go? one in here, actually. We've also got this cadre that could slip into a defensive role somewhere. We can't move through that, but if he goes 1, 2, 3, he could get into there, so we could move one of these guys out. 1.5, 2.5, 3. Start getting those guys up where the action is. This guy can go 1, 2. Oh no, he has to stop there though. Shoot. 1. Here we go. 2, 3. All right. Got this guy that came in last turn. Where can we get him to? 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. He can get up to those guys. Sorry, off camera. Moved him up here to join the 2 infantry brigades, regiments to attack that strong point. Let's go ahead and get that marked. We're also talking about maybe hitting this guy again. Let's see what else we want to do up here. We need to kind of firm this up in this area, which I think means I think we're safe to pull these guys away. Swing them around. So let's get these. We probably want somebody here to maybe attack there. Yeah, so let's move them into there. How are we going to extricate these guys? They'd have to come back this way and then make their way around here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3. Actually, they could get to there with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 6. Let's put them there. Or actually, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or no, that's a river there. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that's the best they can do. Or move some stuff out of here and they take their place. That's probably a better idea. Let's see. Well, that's 1, 2, 3. That's all their movement just to get to there. One, 2, 3, 4. They could join them. And then this moves, the long way around basically to get to there. And this guy can move in with it as well. Just to boost up there. Get them up to 9 at least. Well, they got the... I don't know if they get... Yeah, they should get the DCB by themselves. Silhouetted units don't, but they're not silhouetted. Yeah. Use a bit of a gap here, but they'd have to stop, when they move into either one of these spots, and I don't know that they want to necessarily do that. These guys probably don't want to come out from behind that flooded river. So I think we're okay there. We probably want to start inching this core up that way and this core down this way. We want to have 7th Corps covering this area. Unfortunately, these guys are going to be out of artillery shift range, but I don't think they'll need it. So I wonder if maybe we should move them farther then, just so they're up in that area for next turn. Because we're probably going to be wanting to hit this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably want to get them like around in here. Let's do that. So 1, 2, 3. Get them to like there. Maybe even here. That'd be 4, then 5. I'll flip to their moved side. And then these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they can support this from just moving 1, so we'll keep them like that. And we got these guys coming in. They use tactical movements. We'll just put them there. And they would get a regroup marker, but that's not really necessary. Same thing here. Tactical movement to here. And tactical movement to here. Tactical movement to here. Or here. Let's put them there. Okay. I think that is it for movement. Let's figure out what else we wanted to attack over here. So we were talking about hitting this guy again. And we have enough to try an attack here. We're going to get, I know there's some penalty for attacking across the perimeter. I got to check what that is. I think it's just a shift. I got 7. We only have 9. So it's 1 to 1, but we would have armor shift if that's allowed across the perimeter. Let's see. Cherbourg perimeter, no armor shift. Allied units are halved. So yeah, that's probably not gonna Not going to happen this turn. What about here? I've only got 4, and they're in bocage for another 3, so that's 7. We've got 10. I think we might as well hit them, right? So that's 3 U.S. attacks. We have 3 shifts. Is anything still inside the naval bombardment? This one is, but I don't think we were planning on attacking that. I guess we could. Only got 6. Plus 3 is 9. We only have 7 though. We'll probably hold off on that. So yeah, we've got the 3 air shifts and 2 artillery shifts, just like the Brits. So 3 attacks. We want to do a 4th one somewhere. I was saying, well, the problem here is we're attacking out of a flooded hex, so we would be. Guess we could move over to here. No, we'd want to move down to here. So we're not... that leaves a pretty big gap there if this doesn't succeed. That way we wouldn't be halved and left shifted. What do they have here? 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. Plus 3 is 14. We would only have 12. Unless we sent someone over here to help out, which we could do. Yep. It would have to be this guy, but he took a replacement. If he didn't, he's only a 1, so that wouldn't help. We can maybe swing this guy around. If he can make it there. Problem is all this flooded stuff he can't get through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he could get there. Yeah, why don't we try that? It's a little bold, but guess we could make it a little less risky by if these guys actually move to here. They've still got a Zoc bond there. The problem with that is if we don't get any kind of result next turn, they could move back into that. Oh, you know what? Fortune favors the bold, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll hit those guys as well. All right, I think that's enough to keep us occupied this turn. Let's go to the attack or combat phase. Start down here with the British. Let's just work our way around here. Let's think about where we want our shifts to go. This is probably our key battle here because we want to kind of continue to put some pressure on these guys around Caen, force them to fall back to prevent being encircled. So I'm thinking we probably do an air and an artillery on that one. So why don't we start with it? So So initial odds are they're at 9, plus they're in mixed, which is 2, so they're at 11. We've got, let's see, what we want our main assault force to be. There's no armor shift because they have a 3 and we have a 3. A couple 3s. I think we'll make the 51st with this unit attached as the main assault force, so that's already at 15. So yeah, plenty there. To bring it to 1-to-1. And then artillery shift. Let's make sure, speaking of artillery, I guess we should make sure our cores are where we want them to be. So these guys are within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just barely. What if we want to shift them over 1 to help with that? I think these guys are okay here. Although if we start pushing that way, we might want them over a little bit more. Probably figure out how to get this guy. Well, he's a defender only, though. Never mind. Not really going to help. Okay, so 1-to-1 artillery support from 30 core makes it 2-to-1, and an air shift to go to 3-to-1. And let's see what we get. Big number 4. All right, 3-to-1, 4 is a DR. Determined defense possibility. I think they almost need to, right? It's going to be in other. They could get a shift from their, I'll remember to do that this time, from their Nebelwerfers. So we'll give them a +1 to the roll. So we're looking at needing a 4 or higher to cancel the retreat. And it is canceled. 5 becomes 6, which is an exchange result. Oh, I forgot to declare a lead, but I was going to make the infantry guy here the lead. So retreat is canceled, but we take a hit. Well, they take a hit, and the British also have to take a hit. And that is on Defender's Lead Unit and any one attacking unit in the MAF, Defender's Choice. So the Germans get to pick this loss. I think we send these guys to cadre status. That was a big determined defense there for the Germans. Commonwealth do not like to see that. All right, so basically that leaves 1 shift for each of these other attacks. Let's do this one up here next. No armor shift. I think primarily because you can't get an armor shift against a strong point, right? Yep, no armor shift. Subnote T. Tiger tanks do get shift. Okay. We don't have Tiger tanks. Let's get all these turned back the right way. All right, so our MAF is going to be the ones that aren't attacking across the flooded hex side. So we've got 10, 11, These guys are all halved, so 13, 16, 19, so we're at our max of 18. And they've got 6, 9, so it's going to be 2-to-1. Flies back. So 2-to-1 to start with. We'll give them our last artillery shift from first corps to make it 3-to-1. Sure I'm not forgetting anything else. There's no penalty for attacking into a flooded hex. It's only attacking out, right? Parentheses. Yeah, only out of. There's no armor shift into or out of, but we already know there's no armor shift. Yeah, so I think that's it. The flooded hex side is attacker halved and left shift, but the left shift is only if everyone in the math is attacking across it, and they are not. So yeah, I think we're good. 3-to-1. Let's see what we get. A 5. 3-to-1, 5 is an A1D1. All right, so a unit in the MAF has to take a hit, which unfortunately is more Canadian losses. And I think they will take the hit on it doesn't really matter. Whoops, we'll just eliminate that one. Just so there's fewer counters. Or maybe we want more counters so we can spread out more. Let's do it that way instead. Stacking ends up being the same. All right, and then they will certainly attempt to determine defense. In the strong point, looks like they'll need to make this guy the lead unit so that they don't suffer a -1. They could use an artillery shift as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're in range of that headquarters. I think we may want to save that for later, though, because strong point's pretty good chance of succeeding. So 3 or higher, it succeeds. 1 or 2, it fails. Ooh, just barely. So it succeeds, but their lead unit has to take a loss. Start whittling that down. Hopefully they fail a determined defense at some point. All right, next let's go with this one. So here we've got 3, 5, 7 plus 3 is 10. As long as we have at least 10, which certainly we do. This will be the main assault force, so they're all full strength. 15 plus these guys are joining in as well. They're halved for going across the river, but they're halved anyway because they're not part of the MAF. So it starts at 1-to-1. No tank shift because they have a higher anti-tank value than our tank value. So 1-to-1, air shift to make it 2-to-1. Big number. Yikes. Really wanted to keep them from entrenching there. We'll take it on one of these infantry brigades. Okay, and then our final British attack is here. They've got 8 plus 3 is 11. Let's see, we'll make thinking if we get an exchange. Do they get to pick any unit, or does it have to be in the math? Yeah, it does have to be in the math, so we could at least limit what they're able to hit. Well, I think infantry replacements are easier to come by, and then of course they'll probably knock that guy down to cadre if they do get the chance. But we'll make the 49th with this unit attached, the main assault force. So that gets us to our 10. We need to get to 1-to-1, plus these guys will jump in as well. So 1-to-1. Ooh, no, they don't get the troop quality for the defender is only if let's see, shifts left for the defender. All units in the map attacking across. TQ shift. Let's see which. I don't think they get it just because they have a +1 and we don't. I think all of ours have to be negative for them to get it. What was that at? 11.5. Troop quality shift. The defender gains 1 column shift to the left on the CRT if all participating attacking units have a negative TQ rating. Yeah, so it doesn't even matter that they have a +1. It's just if all of ours were negative, then they would get a shift left. All right, so 1-to-1 to start. We'll make it 2-to-1. Oops. And hopefully not roll another 1. Or, well, basically we want a 4 or higher. There we go, 4. So DR. They will attempt a determined defense. This will be the lead unit. They get a +1 for that. It's in other. So 2 becomes 3. I don't think that's good enough. Nope. So they will have to retreat 2 hexes, but since they're in bocage, they can just retreat 1. So it's here or here. If we retreat here, it makes them more susceptible. Just keep in mind these guys are getting attacked as well, so they might have to go back. Well, if we retreat here and then they retreat there, that still maintains some semblance of a line. See, I think we go back here because that makes this less susceptible since they won't be able to get units into there. So they'll retreat to there and become disrupted. All right, for our American attacks, get these all straightened back up. So let's think about shifts here. So we've got, oh, I forgot we had this one down here too. We got a total of 5 attacks. Do we actually want to do 5 attacks? It'll be 1 shift each. You could probably get away with no shifts on this one, though, to be honest. There are only 2. You get no strong points alone. I don't think benefit from DCBs. Let's see. Combat is page 10. And some combat bonuses. Due to their small size, strong points do not receive DCBs. So, I got to remember too, I don't think I've run into this case yet, but I also got to remember that you can't get more DCBs than your total defense strength of units that qualify for DCBs. So, I don't think we've run into a situation yet where that would have applied, but at least not recently. Okay, so there are only 2, so we've got, oh, these guys are from different divisions, aren't they? That's unfortunate. Where are the rest of their guys? Well, the 9th is way down here. Who's that other division? The 30th? No, what is it? Get it closer so I can read it. Yeah, the 30th. Where's the rest of the 30th at? I've only brought in 2 of them so far. The other one must be hanging around here somewhere. There they are. I might want to try to get those guys linked back up. So yeah, so we'll make, I guess it doesn't matter which one, we'll make the 9th the main assault force, so they got 6, 8, plus half of that. So we're at 11. So 11 to 2 is just short of 6 to 1. So 5 to 1, but then left shifted for the perimeter makes it 4 to 1. Yeah, I'd say we don't need a shift for that. As long as we get a DR, they're going to be toast. So 4 to 1, 5. It's a D1, so yeah, they're after. And we can advance. That gets us inside the perimeter now, so attacks on that won't be shifted. Okay. Strong point out of here. Then let's go to, so we've got 4 left and 5 shifts. So who do we want to give 2 shifts to? I'm thinking probably this one, because we really need to put the hurt on them up here on the peninsula. Let's do that one next. Ooh, they can't get a, never mind. They're not in range of a, maybe I shouldn't have moved this guy so far. I wasn't thinking about doing an attack there. Where did he come from? I think he was like here, or here. I think it was here because I think we shot him right up this road. Yeah, I think I'm going to redact that move. Just have them go to here. Pretty sure they were here to start. So we'll move them to there. That way they can provide an artillery shift there. These are both in range of 19th Corps. They're in range of 5th Corps. I need to start pushing them ahead as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's move them into there. Okay, where were we? So we'll do 2 shifts on this one. So they're at 4 plus 3 is 7. We've got 10. So it's 1-to-1, no armor shift, no troop quality, unfortunately. Almost. If this guy wasn't there, we would have had troop quality. So yeah, 1-to-1. We'll knock it up to 3-to-1 with an artillery shift and an air support. So 3-to-1. Got 3, which is a DR. Do they want to attempt to cancel that? Probably should. We'll have to make this guy the lead unit. Unfortunately, he's only a single stepper. Or is it just fine to fall back? They only have to go 1 hex. They could go here. If we retreat to here, then they could go here or here. They would probably go here. If we retreat to here, then they could go here, or just to here, or just into there. Thinking since we have some force up this way, maybe they go here. And disrupted. For the advance, I don't know that we want to push all the way into there. That really sets them up for a nasty counterattack. We could advance to there. That leaves them the ability to get back into there if they wanted to. Yeah, I think we advance to here. Keep them out of Valone. And they're still a little susceptible there, but at least they've got 10 factors. All right, then we've got 1 shift left for each of these. Actually, I forgot to consider giving them a defensive shift on the attack there. No, it's too late now. We'll probably want to use that. This won't be that terrible if we have to retreat. These guys, we probably don't want to let them push in any farther here. So maybe we'll use that defensive artillery on this guy. Supported from 1st SS. All right, let's do that one next. Or no, they don't. What am I talking about? They can't use it on defense. They use it for determined defense. That's right. And they opted not to do one, but they probably will want to do one if they have to be pushed back. So, yeah, we'll save it for this one. All right, so these are all 4th Infantry. So they're the MAF 1013 on 6, 8, 11. So 1-to-1. We do get an armor shift. They're just in bocage, and they have a 2 and we have a 3. So that makes it 2-to-1. And then we'll give them, we'll give them an artillery shift. So that'll make it 3-to-1. Two, not good. 3-to-1, 2 is an EX. Yuck. Well, they will definitely pick this reduced infantry division to make him a cadre. And we will pick this armor unit. All right, not what we were hoping for, but at least we inflicted something on them. I'm not sure who got the worst end of the stick there. All right, here, our kind of bold move that left us a little vulnerable in through here. They've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And we have 12, 16. So it's 1-to-1, no armor shift. But we'll give it an air support to make it 2-to-1. Roll big. 3, not that big. I think that's another exchange. Yep. Ouchie. I think we will pick again, we get rid of their armor. Thought maybe the paratroopers might be a good choice as well, but I think getting rid of the armor is better. Give us a shift the next time. And they're going to pick probably our armor since it's harder to replace. Okay. And then finally, we have this one down here. I'm pretty sure is a 1-to-1 initially. Oh, maybe not. 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I think we got this one up to 2-to-1. And 2nd Infantry is the MAF. That's 14. And this guy can be attached, so that's a bunch. So yeah, starting at 2-to-1, 3-to-1 with the air shift. Come on, big number, big number. There we go. 3-to-1, 5 is an A1, D1. Where was that at? That was here. All right, so we will lose, has to come from the MAF, so it can't be that guy. I think we just lose a step here. They will lose, wow. They don't really want to leave this silhouetted unit by itself, so I think they got to take it on that. They've got a real weak spot in their line there. Can't really afford to do a determined defense, I don't think. So we retreat. If we retreat here, it allows the Allies to get across this river. So I don't think we want to do that to get at that stack. So I think we retreat this way. Become disrupted. Getting better at remembering that. And then for advance, I think we push into here. These two hexes maybe, or here and here. Maybe here and here. So I think we go wait, did I forget? I never did an advance with these guys, did I? Whoopsie. Yeah, so let's do that first. So they can't go into that, but they can go to here. Some of them at least. So if we leave these guys back, I think maybe we have them push up into here along with the armor unit. And then, so now with that, seeing that, let's reconsider here. If we retreat here instead, they're in the Zachbahn. That doesn't prevent them from still moving out of it behind us. Doesn't cause any supply issues because they only have one hex and an Ezok before they can get to a road. If we do that, then the Allies can get over here on this side of us. I guess at least this way they only have like one opening they can go through. So yeah, I think we want to get somebody into there. I think we push these guys up into here with this armor unit. And have this one go here to maintain that Zachbahn there. That looks good. Good for the Allies, bad for the Germans. All right. I think that was I guess kind of a mixed bag there for the Allies. They were really hoping to be able to push on this encirclement over here. That kind of got stymied, and that attempt to do an end run over there got stymied. But we did make some good punch through here in the middle. Continue to get this bulge coming down here. And I guess not as good as we had hoped up here, but we at least pushed back a little around Boulogne and got inside the perimeter and took out that strong point up there near Cherbourg. So not bad, I guess. So I think we just need to wrap up. Didn't have any reserve movement or combat. Recovery phase, we can take off the replacement markers, which I forgot to do last turn. And I don't think there was any U.S. units disrupted. Supply phase. No supply issues that I can see. Down in here, we can still get out. And I'm pretty sure that units in the hex prevent the EZOC from counting against the supply trace. So this one can go back this way with no problem, as can this one. And so this one's still fine. Everybody up there looks good. This one is a little out front, but he's still fine to get to supply. So everything looks good. And finally, no airborne withdrawals yet. I think we might be getting close to withdrawing the 101st. We'll see what happens. No automatic victory, so that's going to take us to turn 13. I believe I failed to mention at the beginning of this turn, this is historically when the peninsula was cut, and as we've been saying for a while, we're a bit behind schedule up in this area, and we're not anywhere close to cutting the peninsula yet, but hopefully soon. Now, this is going to be our last quote-unquote normal weather turn before we have 3 turns in a row of storm. I'm playing with the historical storm turn option. So we really need to make some good headway next turn before we get kind of stalled for a little bit. All right, hopefully I didn't make as many blunders as I have the last couple turns on that. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you do notice anything I goofed up, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd like to get that corrected, and that way other people watching don't learn to play the wrong way. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.